Well, personnel. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's all yours.
Okay, what we handed out, notice proposal from administration on, under Article 14, subsections 1, 4, 5, 6, and 7. By the way, you can tell we're a little light on our side today in terms of personnel. They've set up a meeting to do preparations for the storm at the same time. Hopefully it doesn't affect anything we do this morning. But what I thought I'd do is just walk through our proposals here, answer any questions that you have. I'll just go in order. I think 14.1 is we used for all of these sections union's proposal as the base. And as you can see in the legislative format, the changes we're proposing. So 14.1, we're okay with the concept of here that recognizing that we'll end up with an agreement in place at the end of this process. It doesn't necessarily cover every little thing. So things come up throughout the life of the agreement. We're not going to change things without going through the process of working with the union. The first change here in the first sentence is to make it clear that while we're certainly willing to discuss and negotiate, happy with the union over any changes during the life of the contract, it's discussions over any mandatory subject of bargaining. Obviously, with management rights type material, we have to bargain over impact. Recognize we have a sentence in here that it doesn't waive your right to bargain either, so we just want to add in that it doesn't waive our right to implement after going through that process. Basically codifying what I think what is the current law section. The last sentence, which I imagine will be the one that will potentially be between the two parties, is as with I think we have a correct condition clause. We're also proposing that alleged violations of this process be handled under the statutory process, i.e. the unfair labor practice. That's meant to not make everything grievable. It's, again, the grievance procedure. I'll repeat what we've said before under the recognition clauses for alleged violations of the contract. If it's a violation of the statute, like we're not bargaining when we should be bargaining, there's already a remedy for that. So that's 14.1. Any questions and on that? So you want to caucus on all of these stuff at the end.
Yeah, probably. I'm assuming this is alleged violations of this article would probably just mean this specific section rather than the whole article.
Yeah, we can clean that up. Yeah, it's just 14.1. It's not meant to be the rest of it.
Okay.
14.4 is the next one. That's the safety article. Here we have, of all these proposed, the most substantial differences between us. And really, our language here is really trying to codify what's currently in place on the college policy. And I don't have that policy or IMN number on hand, but we all agree, I think, a safe workplace is important. So we're certainly willing to put in the contract that notion. We also are willing to put in the contract that faculty will will be top representation on the committee for safety and security that currently has in place. I think there is faculty representation on them already. And then, of course, if there's recommendations from that committee, we recognize that it touches upon mandatory subject of bargaining. We can't implement that if it's inconsistent with the union contract, or even if it's not inconsistent, if it's a change until we sit down and negotiate that. So really, that's all the language that we think is necessary for safety article. You have a lot of stuff in there. I think that was more that we took out that we thought was covered really in the non-discrimination articles. I'm not sure why we wanted to have a lot of that detail in this article as well. So, for example, that striking a paragraph on harassment and discrimination is not meant to be an indication that we think you ought to be subject to harassment and discrimination, because we figured that was covered in the non-discrimination article already. Unless there's any questions, I'll move to 14.5. 14.5, I think we're on the same wavelength here. I think we just proposing language changes, trying to track the statute and regulation. Certainly recognize our obligations with regard to personnel files, limited access files. I don't think any of our changes were meant to reflect really a substantive change. We did add the sentence there just to go back to would have performance records. We did strike the no anonymous complaints sentence. And frankly, we did that because anonymous complaints run the gamut from something that's not worth the paper it's written on to something that could be serious. And so we don't know that we can commit to it.
Serious. Presumably it's something that would, I guess, result in some sort of investigation, potentially leading to discipline type of.
Yeah, my perspective on it is you have rights for discipline, termination of contract. You can't, if we were to try and base solely on an anonymous complaint, it's not going to fly. But if an anonymous complaint comes in and it has some serious accusation, oftentimes we get employees will say, well, you should just disregard it. Someone won't put their name on it, disregard it. Respectfully, I disagree with that approach. The fact that it's anonymous is certainly a factor in maybe the credibility of the allegation. Oftentimes you can read from the face of it, this is someone griping that they have their sour grapes. And usually there's not even an investigation a lot of times for those kinds of things. But sometimes you get an anonymous complaint for other reasons, or somebody is fearful of retaliation. So I know I regularly, when I counsel employers, say, all of it depends on the circumstance. Just give you a dumb example probably, but if someone anonymously came to you and said, someone just stole $10,000 from your bank account, you're probably thinking, probably not true, but I'm probably going to check my bank account, right? I'm complaining, maybe something to it. They call me, I would say, look into it. If it turns out there's nothing there's going to be an investigation, and you're not going to take discipline action based solely on that. We'd love to have someone sign their name to it, and obviously if you have an anonymous complaint, the investigation is going to be hampered. It'd be ideal to tell them to talk to them, in which case there will be no findings, but hard to tell when you have that frivolous complaint versus something that might be serious. So.
Could we maybe change that a little bit to say that if the anonymous complaint was not found to be founded, that it would not be entered into the personal file?
Yeah, I think
that's
there's
really
room.
what we're kind of aiming at here. Okay, we don't want someone to just say anonymously, I don't like this because they did that. It wasn't true. It wasn't right. It ended up in someone's file that's still in there.
Yeah, no, I think there's room for discussion and maybe some customized language there. I don't think there's any nobody would want even administration in their personnel file, just unfounded complaints or whatnot.
Maybe just tweak it to say that any anonymous complaint that has not been substantiated or founded, it won't be entered into their.
Yeah. If you want to propose that kind of
Something
language,
like that. That's just a suggestion, because I can see why it would be in there, but that would cause.
yeah, I think that's a good suggestion. Why don't you guys I'll think about language, but if you have some language along those lines, that certainly could apply if there's any dispute on that from us. Turning to the next one is 14.6, intellectual property. Our proposal here essentially tracks the current college policy, and it's a little voluminous. Trying to figure out a way maybe to paraphrase. I'm not sure we need all this in here, but in the end, it just, I didn't want to leave something out and have it give anybody the wrong impression. But we're basically proposing what the current status quo is under your IMN, which is this is almost word for word from the college policy. And it essentially sets up different categories of intellectual property. Faculty, for things that don't involve or not initiated by the college, you have pretty much complete rights and control. Things that you're doing in partnership or at the direction of the college, there's a split of rights and revenues and whatnot. And you can read it there. I won't go through the whole thing, but I'm not sure that it's entirely different from your proposal. Your proposal contemplated where it was this joint effort that there'd be an agreement. IMN, the policy at college does contemplate that in some circumstances, but not all of them. So.
Okay, we'll take a look at this.
And section 14.7, outside employment, I added the phrase consulting services just to, I don't think that changes your intent necessarily, but just to make it clear. We've essentially here also codified the existing policy and practice. I'm not sure that's all that different, but it's permitted, essentially. It's the bottom line. We don't have any problem with faculty engaged in outside employment consulting services. The caveat being you can't interfere with your, we view the college employment as primary, so long as it doesn't interfere or undermine college employment. It's permissible. The language here is really from our current policy. Tweaks a little bit.
Brian, I would be two efforts which are complemented by college employees, et cetera, et cetera.
Talking about the intellectual property.
Yes. For instance, say Eric and I decided to write a textbook. He's technically a college employee, but we're doing this on our own time. I mean, we're not writing a textbook, I'm just giving an example. Say we decided to write a textbook, we do it on our own time. He's technically a college employee. Does that fall under that? Because that's what the wording sounds like.
In this scenario again.
Okay. Eric and I decide to write a textbook. We do it on our own time, but he is technically also a college employee. The way that this language reads, income derived from individual efforts, which are complemented by college employees, faculty, resources, et cetera. I feel like that's gray area there. In other words, yes, we're both technically college employees, but it's not a college-assisted individual effort in any way. It's just how we have met if it wasn't through work.
Yeah, and I'm not so sure we would say that this covers it. I can see that, and we might be able to tweak the language. This comes straight word for word from the current policy. It could be updated maybe if you're talking about a scenario where you're both employees, but either you're not using college resources, college time, that kind of thing. I would think that we would not take the position that's covered, but the language could be read either way. That's something you guys want to propose, something, tweak that on how often that would come up with it. Doing what don't think we would get those. And I don't know how often, how often this gets triggered and happens or whether there's been a history of a lot of disputes under the policy. I would imagine not, but if there are, so in discussions on our side and putting it together, the kinds of questions I ask is, if it's an issue, can we change what we're doing? And the response back is what we have has been working fine as far as we know. So if there are things that need to be tweaked, and let us know. Exactly what the policy is, not particularly if there's some issues that come up, need to clarify. So this is what we have today. We continue to discuss the continuing contract issue. We're not in a position to propose anything different today than we had in the past.
You're talking about our Article 12?
12, yeah. Current thought is we're still on our last proposal. But frankly, we're still kicking around whether or not there's there's ways to bridge some of the gaps.
Yeah, I think the two issues there were timelines and substituting various types of experience for some of these seminars.
Right.
Okay.
Basically, we need further discussion on our side. So I think we understand where you guys are with the timeline. You know where we are on it. Trying to put something down that's not too rigid. So, stuff to discuss.
Okay. I think we do have a few things to discuss. I imagine we can probably get your responses to at least a couple of these today. Where do we have conference rooms or?
Can stay here, or we have to go.
You guys can stay here. We'll
Okay.
follow over.
All right, let me give you your conference room then, yeah.
You guys can stay here. We'll find out.
Thank you.
Should be electronic versions whenever you get to.
Yes, I can do that.
All right, sounds good.
You want to do the caucus now?
Yeah, unless there's anything else.
No, it's fine.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, you all were in which rooms?
Yeah.
We go in 177, so it's the building straight across. And when you go through the walkway, it's the first door on the right.
177.
We can just,
It's your conference room.
Oh, yeah, yeah, 177.
All right, so
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
Send that to you in a second.
All right.
Just me.